Security. As humans, we're hardwired for safety. Throughout the ages, we've sought to feel free from harm, protected against threats. A coded entrance, a locked door. In our modern connected lives, that desire extends to our digital footprint as well. From our homes, to our computers, to our mobile phones, we seek protectors that keep us safe. From a Shark Tank reject to a billion-dollar booming business, your journey is proof of the magic that can happen when grit, perseverance, and passion prevail. When you were just a kid, did you know that one day you would invent something so incredible?
If I look back as the kid looking up, I think the amazing thing is not only did I achieve something great from building a business, but I did something that actually had a positive impact. I never really had the goal of how incredible it would be, but I always did like building stuff. And I think even if it solves the problem for just me or 100 million people, I think I still just love the idea of like using my brain to do something that makes something better. I was always inventing stuff as a kid. I'd be down in my basement, played with a lot of explosive stuff, a lot of RC cars, and I'd hack those together. My first thing really was, though, a mousetrap, which is just so funny. My dad had these mousetraps in the basement that were killing mice. I thought that was a terrible thing, so I made a humane mousetrap that didn't work. School was just never like a priority for me. I didn't really do well at it. I had a little bit of ADD, I think. I definitely think I'm more of an inventor. It was definitely different than the other kids. I was in my basement doing this stuff and loved it.
Like many other legendary entrepreneurs, it all started in your garage 8 years ago. And it was there, of course, that your biggest venture ever was eventually born. Take us back to 2011.
I was kind of having an entrepreneurial midlife crisis. I had a bunch of small startups, but not anything big, nothing that was having a big impact on the world. So I decided I was gonna go back in the garage and just work on stuff. So here I am in my garage working on all these kind of stupid inventions, and I can't hear the doorbell. My phone doesn't have signal, thank God, because if it did, maybe I wouldn't have been so sort of motivated to do this. I look online for a Wi-Fi doorbell that would go to my phone. Didn't exist, and so I just started building it on the weekends. I was surprised it didn't exist, but then at the same time, I was just like, I'll just build it, it's easy. It turned out it was not easy, but I did build it. So it took me about a year to get it going, and that was because it was a side project. I felt like it was something I shouldn't focus on because I had these other things that were like my business inventions, and this was like kind of something to fix my front door at my house. And while I was tinkering with it and hacking with it, people kept asking about it. And it was really my wife who said, "This makes me feel safer at home. I think this is the smartest thing you've ever done." I thought it was kind of rude at the time, but she turned out to be correct. And that's when I really started to focus on it, work on it.
What I love about your story is that you always went after your dream, no matter how tough it got. Not long after, Shark Tank, of course, came calling. Tell us about that experience and what your mindset was at that time.
So here I am, I'm in my garage. I'm trying to work on this doorbell, but nothing's going right. I'm out of money. It's a real struggle. And this friend of mine says, "Hey, you should be on Shark Tank," which I thought was obvious, yes, but how? And he said the producer had emailed a friend, and here's the producer's email address, and you should just ping him. And at the table, I literally just pinged the producer, and that's how we got on Shark Tank. So I approached Shark Tank as if it was the business or if it was a job. So I prepared the set. I think we had the most expensive set in history of Shark Tank. And by the way, they don't pay for it. It was like an $8,000 set. I spent a month in my backyard with the setup, having neighbors come over, asking me questions. I had 300 questions prepared. I had that thing nailed. My biggest worry with Shark Tank was it's TV. And they either want me to look awesome or sort of not awesome. And I did not want to look not awesome. So one of the things that stressed me out the most is it had to be a live demo. When we pushed the button, it had to go to the phone, and it was working maybe 20% of the time. I mean, I was just like a pool of sweat. When I hit that button and I looked on the phone, and when I saw it come up, I mean, I almost started crying because I was so excited. From a money side, we were dead broke at the time. I had really thought that they would invest. I thought I'd get Cuban. Walking out of there without an investment, that was a pretty tough day. It was one of those things where like the only thing I could do to succeed was keep going. And so like driving home from Shark Tank without the money, as much as I was almost in tears in the car, still dead broke, and we're done, I only had one thing to do the next day, which is to try to keep going, because stopping was death.
In the end, you remember my name. Remember my name.
Just 5 years ago, you were struggling to make ends meet, and now Amazon has purchased your company in one of its largest acquisitions to date. You have a very powerful purpose. Tell us about your mission and why it's so important to you.
So our mission is to reduce crime in neighborhoods. So I like that invention is something that's deep into our DNA at Ring. What we did at Ring that was different is we came up with products and services that are actually making neighborhoods safer from crime ever happening. And that's by putting back presence into the neighborhood, by people answering a door when they're not there and having it appear that they're there, these kind of things. And so I think what's really amazing about Ring is that we have invented a whole new way of doing neighborhood security that actually makes the neighborhood safer, not just reporting it or trying to sell something based on fear. And until we've stopped crime in neighborhoods, that's when our goal will be achieved. And I think unachievable goals are the greatest thing in the world. Most goals that are set are achievable, which means you're actually setting a ceiling for yourself, and you'll never invent around that. So if you say, I want to get to X million dollars in sales, to me, the worst thing is you'll actually get there. If you set a goal that's bigger than sales, like I want to stop crime in every place in the world, you're going to invent things bigger and better than you could ever imagine. We've achieved things that I never would have thought we'd be able to do, but having a big goal puts you there.
Looking back on your remarkable accomplishments, what is your greatest lesson for other entrepreneurs when it comes to building a billion-dollar business?
Well, first of all, don't ever try to build a billion-dollar business. Build something that you think is going to have an impact, that's going to be where your passion is, that you're going to be excited about. There's so many days that you think you're not going to get to the next day. And if you're not doing something that you love and that you think is making the world better in your way, whatever that is, I think you'll give up. I do believe if you want to do something big and impactful, do something that really means something to you. And that way, even if you fail, at least you still feel successful. If we'd failed doing this, at least we tried to make the world a better place. At least we tried to lower crime in neighborhoods. I look at our business as like a marathon. I think the secret is luck, a lot of hard work, and more luck. Every hour of hard work you put in is like buying another lottery ticket. But just because you buy lottery tickets doesn't mean you're gonna win the lottery. Look at all these things that happened to us along the way. If some of them didn't happen, I don't know if we'd be here today. And I think we could have just as easily been a failure as we were a success. And so I think it's work hard, work towards something that is a goal that matters to you, and then hope like hell that you get lucky.
Entrepreneurs are like fighters. They take punches, they get knocked down. But if the bell hasn't rung, they know that down is not done. Down is just a moment, an opportunity to dig in, a chance to keep going despite the sting. Because they know, win or lose, they were born to be in the ring.
I was born for this.